I'm back. Finally. I missed you guys so much. I think there's like 15 of you. There's a lot in British Columbia for some reason. I'm not really sure why about that. But I'm happy to be back, and I'm happy to be back with my boys, Dave and Jason. Before we get started, I'm going to plug myself and my blog this week, and I'd like to hear what Jason and Dave have to say about it. So, as some of you may know, I'm a big fan of wrestling. Yes, that means men and women wrestling in their underwear, for more or less. And this past weekend was one of my favorite pay-per-views called Money in the Bank. The concept of Money in the Bank is up-and-coming superstars go and try and get their contract for a World Heavyweight Championship opportunity. So I decided to look at players that I think could possibly cash in to their dynasty value in the next year or two. So I'd like to bring Jason in right about now, and I will tell him the competitors in this match. What's up, Jason?
Nick, welcome back from the 10-day IL. Good to have you back.
Yeah, as long as it's not the COVID IL, right?
Exactly.
All right, so I think you heard everything I said.
Yes.
So in this quote-unquote match, we have Logan Gilbert, who I wrote about this past week. Next week's going to be Cabrian Hayes, then Alec Manaea, then Jarren Duran, because I got to throw someone in there that I like to talk about.
Yeah.
5, we're going to go with Kopech, just because he's fun. And then your guy, Alex Kurloff. Okay. So which one of those do you think could possibly, in the second half of this year, come out, and next year we're talking about like a top 100, 150 guy, maybe 100. I'd say 100.
Oh man, that's a tough one, but I think I'm gonna have to go with Cabrian Hayes.
Yeah, that's my early favorite. I love Logan Gilbert. He's so fun.
Oh yeah,
his hair is great. Went to the same school as Jacob deGrom.
Yeah, and I know you wrote about him this week in your Player of the Week, and I actually wrote him up in my buy or sell back in, I think, like one of the very first installments back in like March. So, and clearly he's a buy. He was a buy in March, and he's a buy
now.
Who
do we think Dave's gonna pick?
None of the pitchers.
Yeah, he's definitely not picking a pitcher.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
He might be a Kurloff guy.
Yeah, I think he's a Kurloff guy, which is nothing wrong with that either. So.
Yeah. All right. Let's hear what he's got, Dave.
So what was the name of the hitters again?
All right. Don't even say the pitchers.
Yeah, it's not going to be a pitcher.
We got Cabrian Hayes, Duran, and Kurloff.
For just next season?
Not like the next season, or like they're going to become like a superstar.
Superstar, I would say Duran has the better chance. Wow. I think that Kurloff might be a better, like, just straight up dynasty player. But I don't know, man. Those steals are going to be super important. And then, of course, I think he's going to get a Red Sox boost. So, anyone on the Red Sox or Yankees instantly becomes like 20% more valuable than they really are. I don't even know if people know where Minnesota is, let alone much about the Twins. So, Kurloff.
You're going Duran?
I think so. I think that's who I'd pick in that group.
I once had someone in Red Sox, like, dynasty scouting, all that jazz, tell me I was way too high on Duran. And he's supposedly in the know. He might listen. I doubt he does. He is in 30 Rock, but I doubt it.
But, I mean, to be fair, in my dynasty rankings here, I do have one guy drastically higher and already in the top 100 in that group. No, Kirilloff is actually 70th.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And Duran is 180. But that was before Duran got called up.
And hit a homer.
So getting called up definitely, helps a little bit. And, I guess that it really does take us right into the first thing here on the list for us to talk about. And, that is the call-up of Jarren Duran. And, kind of 'tis the season for prospect call-ups. And kind of the latest guy that, anyone gives a hoot about is Jarren Duran of the Red Sox. Been off to a slow start, though, Nick. You got to admit, 2 for 12. It does have that home run. But, Duran's a guy that is, an above-average hit tool guy and great speed. So I don't know exactly what you're going to expect out of him for power, but, you're looking to see, him get a bunch of hits and steal a bunch of bags.
Yep.
And to be honest, there's not, a ton of guys in the league that do that. So, he definitely can feel a need for, a lot of teams, with that speed. But, I mean, the way that I look at this Jarren Duran call-up as far as this podcast is concerned is that, we do have a Red Sox nerd sitting right here with us.
It's me.
So I think, if anything, I kind of would like to hear your thoughts on the call-up and, expectations. Nick?
I'm pretty excited. The Sox in general this year have been really fun to watch. They've been getting a lot of actual coverage here because there's nothing else going on. There's no Bruins in the playoffs. There was no Celtics with deep runs. So it's all Sox right now, like on both talk radio shows. So it's fun to hear. And like, he's hitting the ball. Like, he's not striking out much. I don't think he might have 2 or 3 strikeouts in that. And he's, at least when I'm watching, he knows how to hit the ball. You can tell if someone can't hit. Unfortunately, my boy Bobby Dahlback might not be able to hit. But Jarren Duran, I might just hitch my wagon to him. My only complaint, he's number 40. He's not a number 40. He doesn't, and that seems to be his real number, because if it's not his real number, he'd be like 78. So my only complaint thus far is the number. And his dad's a fucking horse. My God. He's huge. And just like, what?
I think that we don't need to kind of instigate any more hog talk. So let's not talk about horses or anything like that. We don't need John animals. Yep, no farm animals.
His dad's a big boy.
That's pushing it.
Yeah.
You know how these guys are.
I do.
And we know who's not listening right now, who's not watching, because I'd have to throw a comment up about something hog-related material.
But yeah, I'm pumped about it. It's nice to be excited about the Red Sox again. Yankees suck. That's all I got.
5 strikeouts and 1 walk so far for him.
Okay.
So just
yeah.
But what do you think there, Jason?
I mean, he could be the spark that Boston needs. I mean, not that they're needing a huge spark, but he brings the speed to the base passes, which one thing Boston's lacking. They're the 3rd worst in the AL in stolen bases, so that's something that he might be able to give them in terms of stolen bases. But that's unfortunately, but he already has a home run before stolen base, which didn't see that one come in. But that happened already. I think yesterday or whatever the other day. Yeah. And that's actually one thing I noticed is that the power coming on strong lately. He's got 15 home runs at AAA this season, so that was kind of shocking. He's never had more than 5 in a whole season. All of a sudden, he's got 15 this season. So I don't know. And then also his first hit was off of Garrett Cole, so he's not afraid of facing tough competition. So
the cheater, you mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, the thing I like about speed is that it doesn't really go in slumps. You know what I mean? The only way that he's not going to get bags is if he's just not getting on base. He's got a decent hit tool. So I expect that we'll see him get on base his fair share, and of course he's going to run as much as they'll let him, at least. I mean, just to give you an example, 2019, he had 500 plus at bats. He had an on base of 367, and that netted him 46 steals. So, could he be a 2020 guy? If this power's going to stick around, then then yeah, it's not the home, it's not stolen bases that are going to slow him down. It's going to be the home run. So, I mean, I could definitely see, even in this day and age, especially early on, 30, 40 bag seasons wouldn't be out of the question, especially if he continues to get on base anywhere near, that 350 plus clip. So we'll just have to see, but steals are kind of a given, and then we'll just kind of see what else you get from them from there.
Nick, as a resident, Boston, I didn't really hear too much about what happened at the alternate training site last year, but what was the news out of Duran at the 2020 alternate site? Anything really, like power wise? I mean, because this is kind of I know he's had power, but
I didn't think was like this. I think there was definitely like a change in approach or his swing or something. But everything, like, it was always like Cassis, then Downs. And even people had like Mata and then Duran. And now I think he's even like, I think the hype's great because I'm excited about it. But like, he's not better than Cassis. I don't think, at least. But it seems to be that now people have like Duran at the top of that prospect list.
Sure.
All right there, gentlemen. Are we ready to get into the new segment that we have now that we kind of punched our way through all the relevant and borderline relevant advanced stats that we could think of?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So, I mean, I guess this was mostly your idea, wasn't it, Nick? If I'm not mistaken, I mean, this was kind of where you wanted to take it.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun because we don't really talk prospects much.
No, not a whole lot. So why don't you go ahead and just give a quick little rundown of what we're going to do? And I'm now realizing that the down on the farm probably didn't mesh very well with our anti-hog related
anti-farm animals.
Yeah.
Can you please just give me like a down on the farm, like sing it like almost like it's on a banjo, and then I'm gonna hit it with a farm animal noise.
I will see what I can do for you next week.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
Right now I'm kind of in these comments, and I'm looking at Dan here, who I am facing this week in a matchup in one of my leagues. I think he is like third right now in the standings, and I believe I am tied for like fourth. And this son of a bitch is out to a little lead. I think he was up like 9-3 heading into today. So fuck you, Dan, real quick. And let's move on.
Quick and to the point.
All right. So since we don't have the sound yet, I'm just going to go down on the farm. Bah. The bat was pretty good. That wasn't bad.
Yeah.
That wasn't bad.
Impromptu? Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll see what I can come up with for a farm-related. I don't know.
Maybe.
Man.
Yeah, I don't know. All right. So down on the farm. Each week, one of us, brilliant fantasy dynasty minds. Well, two of them and me. We're going to be going down the farm, picking a prospect. They might be the top prospect in the MLB. It probably won't be. It might be some random guy in fucking A-ball that Dave knows every little thing about, and like their children's names, their girlfriend's names, the whole nine. And then, or Jason, because he's just fucking smart. And mine are probably just going to be some Red Sox players. But
yeah, pretty much, right?
But this week, the inaugural down on the farm is not a Red Sox player. We are actually going to the Miami Marlins organization with my guy, Peyton Burdick. I'm sorry for the dick part. But
never be sorry for your dick.
Never. So, Burdick, where was he ranked, Dave, in your 5 what?
That's a damn good question. Peyton Burdick, 548.
He's number 548 in Dave's rankings. So, Peyton Burdick, right now, currently, he just got called up to AA. Maybe. He started the year in AA. Has 12 homers so far, batting a mean .202. Has a OBP of 357. That's what I really want to focus on here. His whole life has got on base. last year, well, 2019 in the New York Penn League, he was 400 OBP. Then in the Midwest League, 408, then 407. Like, he gets on base, and in a league that for average, he's slightly lower for me. But in an OBP league, for a guy that's could be a good second or third piece in a deal that you're making, I don't see why you shouldn't add him. He hits the crap out of the ball. Probably like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I think he hit 5 homers in like a week. And it was just like all on Twitter, like, Burdick again. It was crazy. But he is 24, which, again, it's not old, but you're in AA at 24. You kind of got to figure shit out relatively soon. So hopefully we see him next year, I would hope. But I don't know. What do you think about my guy, Peyton Burdick?
Yeah, when you put it to the group chat, I was kind of actually a little pumped for him because he's one of those guys that's like, he's not necessarily in your top 100 and this flashy guy that's like, oh yeah, I know that guy. Yeah. But to me, I mean, this guy kind of resembles another former prospect in the Cardinals organization, Tyler O'Neill, actually Seattle at one point too.
That's a good one.
Yeah, big jack dude, outfielder, corner outfielder. A little less speed than O'Neill, but yeah, tons of raw power. Gets on base a ton. One thing that does a little bit concern me when I looked it up, he's actually already 24. He did go to college. Yep. So he wasn't drafted right out of high school. He did go to college. He's 24 and he's just now starting at AA, which isn't a huge deal, but a lot of times, a lot of the top prospects get fast tracked to the system. This obviously isn't the case with him. Yeah, I mean, projects as a middle of the order bat. He's already got, like you said, 12 home runs, 20% home run to fly ball rate, and what he lacks in the hit tool, makes up in the OBP skill. And he seems to be trending towards a 3 outcome player, which is walk, home run, or strikeout, which isn't ideal. But we've seen guys like Joey Gallo and others, and even going further back, Adam Dunn, the true 3 outcome player. It's like you said, I love it. I love the pick. I loved, I thought maybe I come up with some sort of top 50, top 100 guy. So I love kicking it off with like more like a top 150 guy, which I love. I love that 100 to 200 range. Those are the guys that no one's really talking about. You grab them in your, sometimes off the waiver, depending on how
big the league
is. Yeah. You grab him this year, and then all of a sudden, next year or 2 years from now, he's top 50. So love the pick. I love him. I'd like to see what he can do. Like I said, if he can cut down on the strikeouts, get some more, maybe a little bit more bat to ball skill. I mean, I'd love to see what this guy could do.
Yeah, I mean, Jason kind of nailed exactly, kind of the point that I was looking to make about, the 3 true outcomes, and what we were talking about, before we went live here, was kind of, his strikeout total is fairly high. He's got 87 strikeouts and 228 at bats. So it's not astronomically, bad, but it's certainly not good. But he's got 50 walks mixed in there, that's a lot. So that's telling me that, the strikeouts aren't because, he's got, poor plate discipline, or, has a bad eye or anything like that. It tells me that he struggles to make contact with the ball, and that does concern me because, that's not going to get any easier as he moves his way, up to AAA and, gets himself up to the majors. So I could see, more advanced pitchers probably, just being more aggressive in the strike zone against him and forcing him to make contact and not allowing him to walk so much. So not the profile that I want to see for anyone, in the mid minors. The walk rate's great, but I don't know that directly is going to translate to the big league level, but those strikeouts sure as hell are going to.
Yeah. So
I am not quite so high on him because, if these were the numbers he was putting up in the big league level, then that's like Joey Gallo light territory. A little bit less home runs, but basically the same type player. I mean, he gets you, some steals, which you don't, expect to get from, guys like that. But, him and Gallo both steal some bags. So, it's it's a light version of Joey Gallo at that point. But again, I just don't see those numbers carrying over. So I'm not super big on Burdick unless all of a sudden, he really does cut down on those strikeouts and he can get that average up a little bit. If he can exchange kind of, some of those walks for hits, keep that, on base in the 350 mark. Now all of a sudden he becomes someone that doesn't get platooned, when and if he makes it up to the big league level. Right now he kind of looks like kind of that platoon fourth outfielder guy to me, that when he plays, he might bat fifth or sixth in the lineup, and do you some work, but not a guy in Dynasty that I don't think that at this point you're going to own and rely on. Kind of a guy that maybe you keep and stash and just kind of hope that things figure themselves out, because the ceiling is there. He's got a nice ceiling, especially for OBP leagues. But as far as, being a guy that you're going to rely on, I don't see it coming from him.
I mean, I know Wright State University is not the toughest of competitions, but he did have more walks and strikeouts at Wright State. So not by much, but he did have more walks than strikeouts. And like I said, I'm not sure the competition. I think that's like Missouri Valley or some weird conference. Like, the competition wasn't the greatest, but yeah, a good on-base machine.
So we were just talking a little bit about, I brought up Joey Gallo for a couple reasons. Number one,
what a segue.
Yeah, exactly. Just the way it worked out. I didn't, when I did the Joey Gallo portion of it, I didn't know that your guy was going to be Peyton Burdick. So just kind of the way it worked out. But saw Joey go last night live. Was at the Tigers game. They were facing the Rangers. And so they did. So I got to see a little bit of Joey Gallo live, and I was digging into his numbers a little bit. And I thought that it made for a nice little buy-sell hole. Joey Gallo, believe it or not, had 2 outfield assists last night. Threw a guy out at home and threw a guy out at third base. So that was a little bit unexpected. He had a pretty nice gun out there. And you don't think of Joey Gallo with anything to do with defense. You think of him with, hitting home runs and walking, because that's about all that he does. He either hits a home run, walks, or strikes out. Your absolute epitome of a 3-outcome player is Joey Gallo. So I just want to run through some notable stuff here for him. And he is just as extreme as they come, So when you look at his numbers, especially like the advanced stats, he's either like top of the league or he's at the bottom of the league. So, because he gets on base so often, 100 percentile in walk rate. But then he matches that with a 5%, bottom 5 percentile in strike rate. So, makes sense. Extraordinarily high in the xWOBA, slugging percentage, barrel percentage, but, his, X batting average obviously is terrible. So, when you look at him so far through the season, he's at 288 at bats. He's batting 233, which is pretty much right in line with his 230 X batting average. So, 230 is the mark for Joey Gallo. 287 BABIP, which is about what you would expect. Yeah, I think about 300 or so is league average. So he's about where you would expect him. He's got a 391 on base percentage, which is, why people love him, especially, on base percentage leagues. His, value just multiplies, greatly. He's got a 387 xWOBA to go with that 391 on base. So, that number is real. It's not inflated. Add a slugging into it, and we get a 902 OPS, which is, pretty good there. 24 home runs, sneaks you in 6 bags as well, which might not sound like a lot, but, that's going to get you, double digits on the year. So what are you guys thinking? I know a lot of it is, league dependent to some extent, because like I said, he has such a huge boost in, on base percentage leagues. But what are your guys' thoughts on, a guy like Joey Gallo?
If you can, I'd buy him. Even as a 3-outcome player, he's back to his, 2018, 2019 days. He's on pace at 40 plus home runs. Is top in the league in exit velo and barrels. Hitting the ball to all fields too, so he's not just pulling the home runs. 7 of his home runs have been to the left of center. And then there's rumors of him going out of Texas. Probably one of the least likely to get traded just because he's still arbitration eligible, but he's under control. But even if he goes out of Texas, which has been rumored, but his road home splits aren't bad. So I mean, he actually has more RBIs on the road and only 4 less homers. So even if he leaves Texas, he's still going to slug and mash wherever he goes. Like I said, if you're in an average league, I bet you can definitely get him from the Gallo owner. But in like an OBP or even like a slugging league like we have, it's gonna be a little bit harder to get him away from that owner. But yeah, I'd buy him if you can.
Yeah, I didn't realize how young he was.
Yeah, he's not that old. Was he 27, 28?
Yeah,
he's still under team control.
Yeah,
he can have you're looking at 8 to 10 more years of this. Like we could have. He's not Nelson Cruz, but he could be Nelson Cruz in 10 years, mashing homers at 37.
Yeah, but Nelson Cruz doesn't bat 230. I mean, Nelson Cruz only kills you in steals. And Joey Gallo's just his approach. He's not adding, 40, 30, 20 points onto that batting average. I mean, a career year for him is going to be, God, if he batted 250, you'd throw a fucking parade.
Yeah, I can't believe he's only 27, and he was drafted in 2012. I just feel like he's been a guy that's been around for so long, not long, but has just been around, just hitting homers. But I would buy him just like you said, Jace. Maybe the Yankees get him. Maybe he just hits 90 home runs in right field because that's a cheap ballpark, and the Yankees suck.
I would like to know how you really feel about him going to the Yankees.
I mean, they're not going to make the playoffs, so I don't really care. But
I mean, that would be crazy though if you had Gallo, Stanton, Judge, three of the most powerful guys, probably going back to back to back. You'd slot Gallo right between them. That would
murderer's row.
Yeah,
that would be. And then they trade for Trevor Story, so you throw him right in the mix, and all of a sudden the Yankees are scoring 84 runs a game,
and they can't make up the lost time for the first half.
Oh boy. So the pitcher on the list for today is a guy that I own in a few places, so I'm quite familiar with him, but I feel like Sean Manaea is the guy that is extraordinarily under the radar. So I just kind of want to, propose, his stats and whatnot, and hear what you guys think about him, because as an owner of his, and someone that, sees all of his starts, well, not sees, but, stat-wise, sees the starts. I have an appreciation for him that I don't think others might necessarily have. So let's run you through him. He's 290th in my Dynasty rankings. So I'd be curious what you guys think of that. And I can go into the rankings there. I can kind of give you the range of who he's around to if you'd like me to. But his advanced stats, pretty much league average across the board. Not a whole lot of stuff, really sticks out. His walk percentage is walk percentage 87th percentile, so it's not really walking a whole lot of guys. With the whole foreign substance thing, actually would make me a little bit higher on him now, because he's got spin rates that are in the bottom 5 percentile in the league for fastball and curveball, so he's never relied on those. I think that gives him a slight uptick as far as I'm concerned. But if we get into, his counting stats, so far he's got 19 games started, 109 and 2/3 innings. I'm sure there's people who give a shit that he's 6-6, 3.28 ERA, a little bit better than his 4.07 xERA, and pretty much in line with the 3.61 FIP. $1.20 on the whip, so those are pretty solid ratios. It's getting you a little more than a strikeout an inning. He's got 115 strikeouts in those 100 and almost 10 innings. We talked about he doesn't really walk a whole lot of guys, so the 37 walks, that's a nice number. CSW percentage 28.8%, nice, but not quite to the elite level. And he's actually getting hit around a little bit more than he should. BABIP's at 313, not crazy high by any stretch, but a smidge on the high side. So what do you guys think? Sean Manaea.
I'll go first here. I would buy him for sure. I don't know if you guys remember, the first week we talked about pitchers we were higher on, and I went with Kwang Kim for the Cardinals.
Yeah.
I would put Manaea in that same. He's better than Kim, probably, but like the same realm of he's not going to be your ace, but he's going to give you quality innings and help you get your ERA down, things like that. He's going to contribute, and he'll probably be relatively easier to get than a pitcher that's slightly better than him.
I've got about a 200 space gap between Manaea and Kim, just for reference.
Yeah, that's probably like that's accurate. But I'm just saying more of the type of player he is for a good team. He's not going to be your number one starter. He shouldn't be your number one starter. But if he's your like 3 or 4, probably closer to 4, you're in really good shape.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm going to disagree with you, Nick. I'm going to sell him. Like Dave said, he's striking out batters at a good rate. He's limiting walks. But yeah, he's basically only a 2-pitch pitcher, sinker, changeup. Sprinkles in the occasional curveball. But again, even that fastball doesn't have a ton of sinker. Sorry, doesn't have a ton of velocity. His chase rate and whiff rate are his league average. His xERA is actually a whole run worse than his ERA. And for a ground ball pitcher, a sinker ball pitcher, I think he's only got like a 40% ground ball rate, which, isn't bad, but it's also not great. Someone with a sinker, you think you're getting up closer to 50%. So as of right now, with the strikeout rate the way it is, and those six wins, you might be able to get a nice little piece back for him. So I'm going to go ahead and sell Manaea.
Yeah, like I said, I think he's a little bit better than what people realize. That ERA, like I said, 3.3, let's round it up, and the whip of 1.2. Those are solid ratios. He's getting you the strikeout inning. That's nice. If you were to put it into a little bit of perspective as far as my rankings are concerned, hitters that are, right in his range, Adolis Garcia, Joey Wendell, Tyler O'Neill are some, big league names. I've actually got him 6 spots ahead of Christian Robinson, just to throw a prospect in that mix. And then there's not a whole lot of pitching right around him, actually. He is in the range of Lance McCullers, Luis Severino, trying to find guys that are at major league level. I've actually got him just ahead of Chris Bassett. Chris Bassett might actually be a little bit under ranked there, but that's about the range I have him, right in the 300 neighborhood. So I feel like that's probably okay. When I look at the consensus ranking, so my ranking compared to the other people on the Fantasy Pros platform that have the that are in the expert rankings, they've got an average for him of 228. So that puts me 62 spots actually lower on Manaea. So that's interesting. That for me thinking that maybe I'm a little bit high on him, the reality is I even might be trying to alter my bias. I know that I'm biased, so maybe I'm being a little bit unfair to him even yet. But that puts him right in the 200 neighborhood, which in all reality, that's for dynasty purposes, that you're looking at something like a low 2, high 3, which is pretty much about where Nick was saying. If he's your ace, you're in trouble.
Right.
If he's your 4, you're probably in really good shape. Anything in between is acceptable. It
all depends on the size.
Oh, come on.
Wait, what?
Here, hold on. Here, let me just.
We're still talking about Burdick again, or what?
Yeah, I'll put Cubby's comment back up there. Since all we can talk about is dicks and wieners tonight.
Hey.
Boy, oh boy.
But yeah, just on top of that, he is like reliable. You know what I mean? He's not gonna he's 150 innings, 160 innings every year, so he's not gonna kill your ratios.
He threw a no-hitter against the Red Sox once.
Everyone throws no hitter anymore.
Yeah.
But other than 2019 he threw 29 2/3 innings. I don't even really exactly. I don't even really count last year as anything. Right. So he's been around 150 innings. So he's almost certainly gonna break his career innings pitch this year. But on his career to date, 3.75 ERA, 120 WHIP, right about in line. Let's see, as far as strikeouts, this is more strikeouts than usual. So he's definitely under a K an inning for his career, but that was partly in 2018. He only had 108 strikeouts in 160 innings. Take that away, or even that out, if you will, and he's a strikeout an inning guy, which is about the minimum of what you really want to see for a guy. If you're going to be relying on him, in Dynasty or redraft or anywhere, you really don't want to, be rostering too many pitchers that have less than a K an inning, especially these days, where strikeouts are so high. A K an inning used to be a decent number. Now it's almost like, it's only a strikeout an inning. So you got to be a little careful with rostering too many of those guys.
True.
All right, boys. I guess for next week, no promises, but I will see what I can do. I'll try to get you some farm sounds, Nick.
Be like a soundboard.
Yeah, I
wish it was that easy. I wish it was that easy.
Is it tough?
Well, yeah, for me to do all of it is upside. So,
well, we don't need you, Dave.
Oh well, all right, fuck you guys.
All
right, boys. Hey, Jason, do you have any final thoughts?
No, other than check in on every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Central on Deck Circle.
Yeah, that's cool. I don't really have anything either, but make sure everyone has a nice weekend. It's Dave really is important to this. I don't know why. He doesn't bring much to the table, but like when he's here, it's just something like funny to look at,
All right.
What's
going to go?
Dave, come back. Say bye to the people.
What's your final thoughts?
Yeah, come on. Do you think the Bucks are going to win tonight, or the Phoenix Suns, or do you not care about basketball at all?
I hope the Suns.
Yeah.
I
want the Bucks. I like Giannis.
I'm a Chicago guy, so death to all Wisconsin sports.
Did you watch The Last Dance?
Of course.
It was
I lived, some of it, not the first three.
Yeah,
well, I lived in both repeats, but
I
only remember the second three-peat.
That's cool.
So yeah,
I'm trying to find a Phil Jackson book.
Ooh,
just because he's such a weird dude.
I'm sure there's a couple of biographies out there you can definitely look into.
And we're definitely going off the rails now. So see you later. I will see y'all next week. Bye. Yep.